Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the Goodwill video, talking about the auction houses in Goodwill and how it is compared to other places like eBay, which I'm going to end up doing a lot more of the saying Goodwill and eBay over each other. And I'm already forgetting stuff. Facebook Marketplace. Of course, there's a lot more ways to get it, and the main point of this video that I'm probably going to be reiterating these throughout the live stream footage of me unboxing is that there's a lot of things I missed on the first one that I want to make sure I pinpoint at least at the beginning here, and kind of showcasing throughout a little bit, like the price of the shipping and the cost of the item and yada. And at the very end of the video, of course, there'll be like showcasing of how much I spent, how much shipping, and yada yada yada. But the main goal is to at least get the most important stuff out of the way. That I think is also important than what I spoke about in the last video. So without further ado, let's get into that. The first one I kind of already teasing a little bit is the fact that there is a lot, and I mean a lot of different ways to get games, um, old games. It's just retro games. It's like there's a lot of ways. You could either go from obviously, I kind of talked about last video and in the live stream, eBay, Goodwill, or Facebook Marketplace. Of course, there's multiple ways of doing it with, like, say, for Goodwill, you could buy it through the store, go to store locations to buy retro games. You can do the auction house. Sometimes the auction house will have options to buy games up front than going through the auction house. I don't know the whole rules with that. So there's a lot of ways to go about it. Of course, the main point with the many options is that all of them have their own pros and cons. For instance, let's say Japan. It's like the best for me, honestly, if you want to go for the cheapest prices for retro games, go to Japan. There are some cons with that, though. One, you have to go overseas, no Japanese, or go through a third-party service that will probably make it more expensive for you, or you might not get as good enough deals. Aside from actually yourself going to Japan, I know there's some videos out there of people doing that. I know that like one of the Pokemon Go YouTubers that has like a secondary channel. He went to Japan and he found like a DSi that was for only like $6 in Japan. So it's like really cheap in Japan due to how their economy is versus ours, and yada yada. I'm not gonna go too much into it. But the other thing to note when it comes to that is that the other con is, obviously Japanese, and there's a good chance with some items like the 3DS it can be region locked. Obviously, there are answers to that. It's called hacking. It's pretty damn simple, I say. Pretty dang simple. Now, of course, in this video, there will be two different types that will end up ironically going over because somehow in one of the unboxings, I didn't even notice it. We did find an R4 card. If you don't know what that essentially is a card that essentially has a micro SD card in it that you can place into whatever it was made for, 3DS, DSi, or whatnot. That will have pretty much for the most part only all DS to DSi games. I say all DS DSi games. This type of card doesn't have 3DS from what I've heard, and it's something that I think at this point has kind of been mostly disappeared as of a third party that tries to recreate them. My honest opinion is that don't worry about R4 cards. Go for like actually putting homebrew on the system itself. Hacking into the system itself, like hacks.3ds guide, or I can't remember what it's called. I'll probably have it up on the screen of the website link if you want to hack into your 3DS. I don't know if I'll have it on the video or not, but I do showcase during the stream. If you really want me to, I could put the stream onto YouTube. It's like 5 hours long. Just let me know in the comments below if you do. If you want to see all of it. I'll probably edit some of it out if I do that, because there's some points where I'm just doing other stuff because of family members or whatnot. But I do showcase like my hacked red 3DS, and it's something I do plan on doing for one of the items I did get in the unbox. I do at least plan on doing with that system as well. Just might be a little bit before I do that because I need to grab like an extra micro SD card that has enough space so I can do that. But there's many ways you can get around. The whole main point is to get around the region lock on the system. It is very doable, and I strongly recommend hacking any DS system, honestly, at this point, because you're not able to really get much games on it, and it's just way more cheaper to go that route, especially because if you know what you're doing, you can play from the GBA era of games all the way to the 3DS era of games, and if you have a new Nintendo 3DS, you might be able to have some games that were never meant originally to be on the 3DS games. Like, as I mentioned in the stream, that I don't know. No, not knowing right now if I will have it in the video, but I do mention that you can have the first Half-Life game on the 3DS. You can have Doom on the 3DS. It's kind of crazy how much you can do with the 3DS. That's the reason why they're so expensive, as is for competition, because you could do a lot with it. Going to the seven Seas here, okay? But regardless, yeah, there's a lot of ways to get retro games, and all of them have pros and cons. And I've kind of really hammered down a lot of some of the pros and some of the cons for Goodwill, especially with the auction houses and getting good deals. Aside from that, I kind of already mentioned before about the unboxing. Each unbox will have like the price and the shipping price with it, as well as like at the very end, I will kind of total both the differences and showcasing how much I really spent on shipping versus actually getting the item through the auction house. Last other thing is, of course, quality of the item. Something that I didn't really speak about too much in the first video, but I don't know if I can't remember if I hinted at it or not that well. But when you do the auction house or buy from the wood shop or however, Goodwill will always note that they do not touch or mess with anything when it comes to the items. So if they don't work, obviously they don't work. They obviously do test them out to see if they work, and they will let you know if it works or not. But that's it. The quality is generally as it showcases. So if it has a broken hinge, it has a broken hinge. It's not going to do anything about it. That's on you if you want to do anything about it. Okay, fair enough. Well, while that is the case, this is a very rare experience. Funny enough, Snivy102 did show up and watch the video. Cool. And that was really cool. I didn't expect that, but awesome. He did comment. I did repost to him. And one of the main points is that, again, on a rare occasion, you may get an item that, while it was perfectly fine and through the auction house or when you bought it, it could end up being in a worse state, broken or not. That has happened before. As I brought this out, I did show it on stream. I don't know if I'll have it on the video, but I might as well show this on the video at the start here with this GBA that I got through one of the auction houses with other items. If I just check when I get this thing. But one day, I do want to at least see if this still works, get a new shell and like that. Hoping, that's my plan anyway. If not, this is just going to be more of like a test GBA to like experiment and get used to that sort of stuff. Because obviously I haven't really fixed anything or refurbished. I think, quote unquote, refurbished is not really like I'm not a refurbished dude or a company or anything like that. But I guess that's the best way to explain of at least trying to make it good again and make it look like it was made in 2024 with those ISP display cases and whatnot. But as you can probably tell already, a lot of this broken down like chips to it, like how this corner is completely destroyed, that was not in the picture at all. When I grabbed it, it was in this plastic box, and there's a lot of pieces that fell off of it, and it was crushed. In rare instances, this could happen, where the item is in worse condition, or maybe even broken, before you got it. Be careful here. So I just want to mention that can happen. But this is like the only instance, even with the unboxing, I had no issues of this at all. So it can happen. I just want to make sure that you know that it can happen. I think that can happen for anything. Am I going to stop doing Goodwill because of it? No. It's just something that can happen, and I'm not going to really hold Goodwill to gunpoint because of it. Because people make mistakes. If it was like a common thing that happens, then I probably wouldn't be doing Goodwill. But it's not a common issue that I need to like stop, doing Goodwill because of it type deal. That's not the case, thankfully. But while that is the case, just know it can happen. Especially because they don't usually recheck or make sure everything's in a good position. You get what you get. You pay what you go for. The last thing I want to mention is something I kind of mentioned as well as to comment with Sniper 102s, is that especially during the video, there can be bonuses. And this mostly goes in line to something I think I did talk about a little bit, is the ignorance, or like unknowing ignorance, or just people not knowing what they're doing because they're too old to know what they're doing. Like, they're old enough that like they don't understand technology, or even stuff from the GBA era, for example. And that is something I will kind of showcase for some of the items. Like, one of them was this unknown GBA game, and it wasn't really an unknown GBA game. It was just like a Palo Park extension for the DS that was always in with the DS when you first get it, so that like no dust or anything can get into that park, and you keep it in there so it doesn't get dirty and you can use it later on. Just stuff like that. And in some situations, you'll get extra games where generally, they weren't listed at all, and you just get them for free. And I've gotten some, like, just because of freaking willful ignorance of, like, not even checking to see if there's a game inside the system, I have gotten many free games from that. There's once where I got a free diamond version without it being listed as a Pokemon game in the lot. No one knew, so it was dirt cheap, and I got a free diamond because of it. See, that is something to look out for. I'm giving you guys tips on these lot houses here. A little too much, I say, but just something to think about. But I got, during the unbox, I think there was at least 2 more games that weren't listed that were in the system because they don't check the systems at all to see if there's anything in them. So, I'll let you guys know that, yes, you could get a free bonuses. So that's like another pro for Goodwill. So that sometimes you'll probably get lucky and get something extra. It usually happens with DS systems, by the way. So just letting you know that it can happen, and it usually could be pretty good, like a free diamond version. Not obviously, we didn't get another one of a Pokemon game, but we did get, I believe, can't remember what it was now. Oh, whatever. I'm not too worried about it right now, but there is free games that you can get with the systems. Regardless, I think that's all I wanted to mention before we start the video off here. Anyway, enjoy the video. We're gonna go with this one. I know what this one is. The others are going to be like completely like don't remember. This, if I remember correctly, should be GBA, which is the reason why I put it on the last thumbnail of the video, of the Incredibles, the GBA Incredibles game. There's like multiple, but I believe this is the just normal Incredibles. I wonder if I could just open this up with my hand. My goodness. Okay, this This is just getting more annoying to open. You know, if I actually had like an actual like box opener or something, this would be a lot easier. But I don't think I have one currently here at the house. Okay. I'm actually kind of confused already. I can't tell. What the hell? Maybe I'm incorrect. Or not? I'm not. Okay. Okay. Okay, Goodwill. I was not expecting this. I was expecting just like bubble wrap around the game itself. I was not expecting it to be in a case. Let's first, is it actually? No. It's not the GBA games. What the fuck? Huh. Okay, so I think this is like a wedding ring hold case, or for like jewelry. 18 karat gold on sterling silver charm. So my god, guys, these are definitely gold silver jewelry. I was not expecting this, honestly. Okay. 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 I don't know why. Oh, it's a different version. Okay. I didn't realize it's for versions for a similar track. I was confused there. But anyway. So, at some point, they were buyable from the store. So kind of show. Nickelodeon's MLR, $14.99. Let me get it back. I can't tell. Blurry. Come on, focus. Not gonna focus that well, but it's the Little Leagues World. I cannot read that cursive. Baseball 2008. Yeah, Major League Baseball 2K7. We have the one I was kind of interested in from Ubisoft, Imagine Teacher. I was kind of curious because, I mean, I saw the Ubisoft. Not gonna really easily focus on this. Okay, that's gonna be annoying. And then we have I Spy Universe and I Spy Funhouse. Now, the reason why... Trim your nails? Bro, chill. They're not, like, long, mate. So, this one I was most interested in just because it's an I Spy. I remember there being an I Spy GBA game that I played a lot, that I liked a lot. So we're going to test out each of these GBAs to see if they work. Now, I'll give you the price. They originally... Let me see if I can find it. So the original price, I think how I set it up, was $5 or something like that. I got it for $10. But with shipping and handling, that was pretty much like almost $15 extra. So it was like $25? Like, here's the thing. $10 for 5 DS games is not a scam. I'm gonna be brutally honest here. $2 for a DS game is under the price, like usually normal or under the price point. Especially for like a Ubisoft game, that'd probably dump it up to like $5 or $10. Alright then, for free. Sure. But if the government comes to you, or let's say the police come to you, you did something bad, and they look through your PC, and you find all of these illegal ROMs, you can actually get, you know, fined for those illegal ROMs. A fair thing to note, like, you actually can. Hence why, if you have a physical version, you can use that version. And say, hey, I just put that onto my PC, or whatever you got it from. Imagine, I know, but it's not out of the woods. Like, who knows what will happen in the future and what you might do. Whether good or bad, who the fuck cares? You can still be charged with having illegal ROMs, because they are technically illegal. The emulation is not, you know, illegal, but the actual, like, games themselves ported can be. Well, they can't. That's why you have to tell them. You have to show physical evidence that you have the game to say, hey, I do have this. And they'll most likely have to believe you at that point. Hence why you have to have a physical version if you end up getting caught at some point. Which, again, that is like a very specific scenario. Like, the chances of them actually going through your PC to figure out is another entire deal in its own right. Sure. But it's not impossible for that to happen. That's why you gotta be a little careful with that sort of stuff. And just don't do something stupid. Don't do crimes. Simple. But it's not a pirate. Oh, okay. So, from what I know, there is the simple way. We could just Google this. It's not like it's usually popular games are the ones that you can figure out easily if they're legit or not. I'm gonna have to. Okay, so first of all, the first indication is the last digits in the cartridge on the thing here. So, you notice how there's a USA? I can't really tell. If it says this is a USA copy, it should have USA at the very end. Which all of these do, except some of them are being covered because it's plastic. We don't have the box, so we can't really confirm with the box, obviously. Well, yeah, but there's a lot more to it. So first, another thing is Nintendo, the pat pendant, and a number code. At the very tail end, you have the gold shipping lines at the end. So this, if it's not gold, is fake. If this is in the correct line, if it's not in the correct order, it's also fake. So there's a lot more ways than just the printing at the very bottom. The actual stuff that's used also has to be the same thing. Okay, there's another thing to note too, like the fonts as well. I know there's a lot to mention here. Of course, there could be a slight difference in the color of the metal strip visible between the plastic sides. Like, there's a literal, like, you can look this up and find it for yourself. I know these are legit, because who's gonna try to make a fake, I Spy game? Or who's gonna fake a 2K7 game? You know? It's like, Pokemon, sure. But, like, random-ass DS games no one cares about? Nah. I mean, I'll give Goodwill, like, like a thumbs up at least to try to like keep the packages okay, but at the same time that's not really like fully protecting them. Yeah, you're keeping them in like a location you can possibly stop it from being crushed, but like I feel like there should have been more done for the packaging than just like a drooly box. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. Okay. This is... okay, more DS games. Oh, it's this one. This funny one. Okay, so this is a good example of showcasing that the people who do, like, put up these online auctions don't know what they're doing, okay? Okay, so, you know, you can easily tell when they have this as their title for the lot. I just did it because it was so stupid I wanted to put it up for $7, not counting tax or anything. Each time I do go over the games, just talk about them, or like the start of unpacking them, I will put up on the video of the actual like price points and like that. Anyway, the lot of 4 Nintendo video game cartridges and an unknown Game Boy Advance game. The thing is, this unknown advanced video game is not even an advanced video game. Why I specifically took this is it's pretty much whenever you gotten one of these DS game systems, I should say, not games, that has both the DS and a game park, there would usually be a miniature like blockage thing here to keep from anything getting into the GBA port if there was nothing there. So that is what this unknown GBA video game is. I was so stupefied. I was like, bruh, I just have to do it. Just to clown on whoever decided to put that up. I mean, it got me to do it, but obviously it's not an unknown GBA game. Obviously, I'm not showcasing a new GBA that never existed before. It really is just this. Anyway, I did it because it was funny. These usually most people throw away, but all you do is you just slide it in, and it keeps the back here from getting anything to happen. It really is just that. So it looks nice, and you don't have to worry about anything else. It's just... honestly, it's actually kind of cool. But that's just me anyway. But that is not the important thing here. The most important thing here is the 4 games. Okay, this is an interesting case holder. So this is a Nintendo DS pink case holder where you put 2 games on top of each other. Generally, I had DS where they flipped them around so that they wouldn't be on top of each other. Okay. Well, these look all legit so far. That one is... oh, I don't know if this one's gonna work. Very faded on the back. Doesn't mean it's not legit, but there's a lot of damage to this one. So yeah, the Goodwill Off the Rails is the most damage of them. We have that. We have Little Pet Shop. We have Lovely Lisa Tommy. And My Baby's First Steps. You can tell that a girl, a young kid, was the one who played these games and had these games before. But all these look legit. This one I'm most afraid of because I think that there's a lot of baggage. It's very like hard to see. It's faded for the code. There's a bit of damage on the actual like pins themselves. We'll see with this one. It's not like huge damage, but I don't expect this to work. But we'll try it out. But it works. So all 4 of the games, My Baby, First Steps, Lonely Nisa Tommy, Goodwill, Thrillville, Off the Rails, and Littlest Pet Shop all work. The one that I'm most interested in now, actually playing, is the Thrillville. I'm kind of curious because we're dealing with villains. We're at this theme park as well. Interesting. It's the one that I was most afraid of not working, but yo, we'll put it back in the casing that it was in, and we'll put it into here. Okay. I don't know exactly what will be in it, but I will have a instantly know. Okay, this is what this is. Interesting way to package it. Oh. I don't think it was that. Anyway, this is a good way to throw stuff away. This could be something I know, this may not be. I'm really curious. I'm thinking it might be a console, but I don't know. I don't wanna jinx it yet. It could be something else. It could be a different console. Because I think there might be 2 different consoles. Again, I will showcase the price of it. Unlike the other 2, this one is actually packaged, which may or may not work for people. I don't know. Some people are like specific, you know. So whoever did this did a good job at packaging. I'm just gonna cut through it all anyway. And I don't know if we're gonna get through all the music or not, but if we do go through all of the tracks, let me know which OST you guys want me to do. So we can throw stuff away. Okay, so I didn't think it was this, but it is that. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves here a DS, more specifically a 2DS. Now I know at one point I've played a 2DS, but this is a little bit different than your normal 2DS. You could probably already tell. Generally a 2DS would be like completely covered in one color for the most part. Though I've always wanted to at least get one and try it, because this is a lot more comfortable to use compared to like this form factor 3DS. And like I do like the bigger ones, but this is pretty dang nice. So because there is no sleep, There is a sleep button on the bottom here, which is cool. There's an SD card on the right, so it's easy to get to SD. Easy to hack into if you do that sort of stuff. Volumes to the left. Be an EN version. We have the stylus to the right here. AC, GBA. We'll probably use this to test out the GBA games, since we might as well. Unless it's like, you know, I don't think there's anything that's specific anyway. Showcasing the price. I know this thing, it was a decent amount of money. Anything that is DS or GBA console related is going to be a huge price. It's going to be huge in demand. This was $72. $72.32. For a DS in America, I would say that's good. I mean, compared to when it was probably sold, could have been way better, but... Alright, so the interesting thing is, in certain places in the world, if they don't know much about consoles, a lot of people would point this, like, when they get to this part, don't think it would work when you first install and do stuff for the system. Just because of the fact that, like, they don't realize they have to touch the bottom screen to actually do anything. So far, I would say, I don't know if this has actually been used all that much. At least it's been reset, but there's not much damage to it. It's been used, but not a lot of damage. Not too much anyway to worry. Gotta remember, this is gonna probably be a lot. Not more important. Careful. Assuming that's... They really just use... Yep. So that's all there is to it. They used cardboard paper, I like to call it. In a plastic baggie, we have ourselves the GBA of The Incredibles. There is multiple GBA Incredible games. This was the first one that I did get that was, I know for sure, $5. With tax and like that, it ended up being $20. But yeah, $5 for this thing. Yes, 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 I could easily emulate it. Yes, yes, yes. Other than that, I'm just kidding. I would strongly suggest emulation over anything else, and yes, I even suggest that. But honestly, actually having it itself too is pretty awesome. Presents, Pixar, Incredibles seems to be a bit used for sure. One day I'll play it for sure. But yeah, only $5, and it's legit. You can't arrest me. Though, sorry, joking aside, I like if you can. Emulation, but it's just something to think about if you do get in trouble with the police. There's a chance that you could get in trouble by illegally owning ROMs. So take that into account. It's not like it's gonna always happen, but if the right things match and happen, you could get arrested for not actually having the games. So, fair warning. But that's not going to stop anyone. And I wouldn't say to not pirate at all, because that would just be insane in its own right. Especially with how game companies are. And there needs to be regulation. One day it would happen. Who knows when? I just have it. Yeah, I could be negative, but I think one day there will be, regulation on retro games. Hope it happens sooner than later. Anyway. Annoying. And at this point, I have no idea what to expect, so... So far, we haven't really had to sit down with like, this GBA, this Game Boy Advance I've shown off earlier. That there hasn't really been a situation where I get something completely different than what I've seen in terms of, like, quality. Like, did it get destroyed somehow before it got to me? Nothing has like that happened yet, which is a good thing, and that's usually how things are for me and my luck, but it's not the thing. The point is that it's not all, like, there's no guarantee it won't happen, you know? Okay, so there's some things I do want to mention real quickly that I talked about in other streams, is that the most important thing to note about trying to get retro games is that each different way to get a retro game has its own pros and cons. Nothing is the perfect place to get retro games, and each place could have such a better deal than the other sometimes, even if it's considered to be the worst for someone. And it may differ depending on the people, you know? So it's not like the best suggestion to always do Goodwill, because there's sometimes where it's maybe better to go somewhere else. I think Goodwill has some issues that you may not like the outdated system, to shipping being a lot more expensive, doing something like JP. Maybe you'd be better off doing eBay sometimes. It just depends. Okay? So, just because of that alone, it's really hard to, like, say what is the best. Because it's going to be always something good and pros and cons for each service. In the case, the point of this is to showcase, like, what you will get, the pricing, and obviously, the quality. And this is just, me do it, you figure out if you want to do it too. Okay? And it's based off, of course, not everyone will do. I talked about it a lot. I even showcased the actual, like, channel of its own right. But I'm actually generally being very serious on that. It's like, each one will have its own pros and cons, and that video made me want to actually do something about Goodwill, because I have done Goodwill to an extent, you know? Anyway, this is an interesting case. 100%. Now, I will say this, there is a chance that there's another thing I want to mention too. I'm switching the price here for what this was. There's a chance that you could get a game in a system that wasn't listed. That's another pro with Goodwill, is that sometimes not always the best. Like earlier on, when Ting talked about like the GBA that was don't know what it is type deal, you know? Where it wasn't a GB game at all. Not like the people that are doing it, a lot of the time they just get the items and put up there without checking. a lot of the time. And so there's always that like chance you might get something that doesn't work. You just have to look at it. Most of the time they usually check to see if like a system works, but like they don't check if there's a game in the system or if it's an actual game in itself, you know? So they're not like always perfect. In the case of this DS, ironically enough, I got a game that wasn't listed. And that game that wasn't listed, which I did see because the pictures that I saw that there was something in it, if I remember correctly. It was a diamond version, a legitimate Pokemon diamond version. That usually would cost $70, nowhere close to that, because it wasn't shown or listed because it was in the system. That is something you have to take into consideration as well. Most of the time, most sellers or most people catch it. Goodwill, that's kind of a bonus. You might get something special that was not listed. And there was something that I was gonna get. I just didn't have the money, and I would have, because it would definitely would have had something extra to it. Anyway, for sure. Because they did not list all the games. They specifically showed off 2 games, but there was more games inside like their package thing. I just didn't really be able to pay it. Okay, need to use. Okay, so here it is: Nintendo DS game cartridge lot of 16 games and a case. I got this for $33. $33 for 16 games. I'll say is pretty good. This is a Star Wars fan, I will say that for sure. And the taxes were close to $20. Not taxes, shipping. There is taxes to it, but shipping was $17, not considering handling into that, which made it like almost $22. No. It would have been 25 actually. Almost 25. Yeah. Like that's the thing about eBay and why it's like the shipping, handling, and tax bit is so much sometimes that it's almost on par of the price of the auction itself. And in this case, almost $25 to ship this to where you live. System. This is fancy as hell. What? That's not a... I did not see that. What's that, guys? There's something that's making me more interested now than before. Because we have a raw 3DS game. Let me look into it. Remember how I said there might be something actually that you didn't know that was there? That might be a lot more better than what the actual price was going to be. I don't know what this is. Was this in this? Was this originally in the pictures? Yes, it was. I need to actually... Okay, an R4 cartridge. R4 is an unlicensed flash cartridge for the Nintendo DS handheld system. Allows ROMs and homebrew to be booted on the Nintendo DS handheld system from a micro SD. Is this a... Yeah. Oh my god. This did not register. Because it has an SD. Remember how I said about 3D pirating? Is this a 3DS? Hey, get off of there. I need to see if this is Oh, this is literally just get off of there. Off. Oh, thank you. I don't know. Look at it. Not really finding. Oh, they're supposed to be off. This cat. I think this is a 3DS hacking device. Obviously. I need to see picture. A revolutionary for DS is an unlicensed flash cartridge for the Nintendo DS. Is it just... Are banned in some countries due to copyright infringement from Nintendo. In late 2000, Nintendo began a legal crackdown with a series of raids against R4 merchants. Huh. This has a real-time save support. Okay, a DSi or 3DS often paired with charging R4 to R5 or with Nintendo DSi or 3DS console. It is also very common for one clone cartridges to include words such as Gold Plus, Ultra, and Dual Core, which only serve to make the card sound impressive. Okay, so this is for the Nintendo DSi. Yeah, so this is a... You annoyance. I love you. You need to stop being annoying. Okay. I'm gonna test this out with the DSi. And I am into DS does work as well. So we're gonna try to get through this as quickly as we can here. I may have to end the stream off here early and make it a part 2, which wasn't the plan, but that's probably the likely scenario that will happen. Now, I don't know if this will work. We'll try this again for the DS. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm gonna count this as not working. So out of the 16 games, 17 more than that, who knows? At least 16 games work. One of them being 2 games in 1. And that was $33. The R4 card was not expected, but the R4 card didn't work either, so... kind of unfortunate because I looked into it more. I definitely would have looked into it and seen what I could mess around with it. Not the case. Now, I would have streamed a lot earlier today, but sleep schedule wise and me not realizing that what day it is because my brain's being stupid, we didn't get around to actually doing this earlier, which is what it is. Kind of annoying to me, but it is what it is. Actually, this thing. don't know what this is personally. Oh! Oh, right. Okay, now this is where it gets a bit interesting. So we got ourselves another one. Might be wondering, another one. Another DS. Remember what I said about fixing consoles and like that? That's something I do kind of want to do in the future. Only, okay, they box this weirdly. So we have another DS. Is this a... This is a normal DS. This is not for the DSi, unfortunately. We're gonna put it into the DS charging cable that I have more of somewhere else in this house anyway, so... We are going to check out this DS at the same time we're going to check out these 3 games. So we have Arcade Advance Konami Collectors series. We have Bakugan, the DS version. Love this version. I love the PlayStation 2 as well. I choose the PS2 over the DS version because it doesn't run systems. And we have Batman, the video game. So we have another one. I just realized that we have doubled up on. And the same thing over here. We have a storage slot for the system, so it's kind of obvious. Let's see this. There's a bit of scrapes here. Let me actually go to the... So we have a red and black Nintendo DS Lite handheld with games and charger. It's tested. It was $30 for the auction price that we wanted. I wanted on, and then of course $12 shipping. Prices. It looks similar to what was pictured, so I'll give him that. Yeah. It was tested, supposedly. So I'm expecting this thing to turn on. Oh. This is the blah blah thing, and my brain being stupid because I can't remember the name of it. The hilt. Okay, instant red. And this belonged to 1. Whatever 1 is. Hey, there we go. This game works. This is, I think, our second copy of Batman the video game, I believe. Okay. Both versions were a bit finicky there. We'll allow that 1 DS to charge. Ugh. There's so many to go. I don't think we're gonna finish by 7. We'll probably make this a 2-parter. This, I think, was the last package I received. And they had issues with it for some reason. You know. This one has 2 sets of items. And they have actual paper for it that showcases the info and like that, and hey, thank you for doing this. This helps Goodwill. And no, there he is. Rare thing to see, but it's stunning. Okay, we got ourselves a bubble wrap. Bubble wrapped around in of itself. Oh. Okay. There. We have a other 3DS, a legit 3DS charger. I thought that was a deal. I like the bubble wrap. Bubble wrap's pretty nice. Pretty damn nice. Okay. Let's start off with the 3DS games here, just for something different. We have Light Battlers Experience. I have a feeling it doesn't sound like there's anything. Cool. Okay, so we have viewing electronical manual, and that's it. Have that. Glacier LBX on the Nintendo 3DS system. Hey. At the top there, sticker. I think it's a sticker here, but put this right by the DS section of games. Next one is Bravely Default. Seems like it game's out of the box. From GameStop. So someone got a game from GameStop and then donated to Goodwill. And of course, it's supposed to be Bravely Default. Oh. Well, we hit the jackpot. We got ourselves 2 games. We got ourselves Lego City Undercover. Again, I gotta preface it, there's chances where we can get more than 1 game. And of course, we got ourselves Bravely Default. I heard that there was, I did hear something inside of it, but I didn't expect it to be a second game. I thought it was not in the casing. Well, of course, this is the pre-owned, so there's nothing in here. And you might be wondering, how the hell did that happen? Why would there be 2 games in one? Did the GameStop really be that bad? Well, here's the thing. GameStop, I don't think is that bad. What happened? Goodwill. Goodwill doesn't really organize shit all that well. So, sometimes, when people mess around with stuff, or because they don't just handle it properly, sometimes they'll have a case with 1 game in it, and then someone will also put into it, and then people will grab it, not really care. The staff won't care what's in it. They'll just do it as is. And you get situations like this, where we get 2 games instead of 1. So we might as well go over the prices of this. Might as well at this point. This lot, these Nintendo 3DS Bravely Default and video game lot. Okay, it did actually say the 4 piece. It did actually count the 4th game. Okay. Okay, you got me there. Okay, I thought it was... I thought it was 3 games. I need to read more. Anyway, joking aside, messing up a little bit. $45. $45. Okay, Lego City Undercover. Looks like it worked. This. I wish it had its like own little storage area. That's kind of plain, but I'll figure it. Play it. That's for that for now. Activate Street Pass? Nah. Not gonna worry. Pass. side here. Now let's unpack this monstrosity. Get this off for now. And I just taped it all around. And I know I kind of briefly talked about how good each one is in terms of like where you want to get retro games. Like it might be harder to find JP if you don't understand JP, and if you want to go through like the route of like going to Japan, you would have better experiences knowing Japanese and going to Japan than anything else with shipping. The cost of going to Japan anyway, you would have to have like good enough reason to. So it's like it's not always like the best idea just to go for retro games to go to Japan, unless it's like the price is offset based off of like what people are doing now versus then type deal. I didn't really job with it. Oh mates, what the hell did you do? Well, someone's an Apple fanboy. This is... I can't tell. Or... I might have to look into it. Because this is either 3DS, I'm gonna say 3DS, because I think the 3DS, like the DS, are similar colors, but the 3DS they changed to this grayish color. So I'm gonna say that this is definitely a 3DS charger, a legitimate one, just based off how it looks versus the counterfeit one over here. I say third party, more or less. Likely not counterfeit, because people saying counterfeit, it's like, at this point, like, going for that more than anything else. Okay, so this DS here, this is DSi. This is DSi. Let's actually check out the games. Okay, this was when we talked about the 3DS games, right? I would have had it on the screen, but this was a good $50 for this stickered Apple device. Hey, not yours, but this is a DSi. Unless I am mistaken, but this is DSi because you have the camera over here. I'm just not used to it being black. I think like DS as black. Hey, welcome to the stream, Yanif. What do we open up today? Goodwill. Auction house wins. I had a video up. This work. It is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare version. Okay. We're not going to worry about it. We're going to try to save as much battery as I can with the DSi because I have to find the chargers. But all of them work. I just have to charge the other DSi. But hey, we have another DSi in my pocket. It looks like an Apple device version, which is not the case. Sticker on it, but... And just to let you guys know, that, those 5 games and this DSi system, $50. For a DSi with 5 games, I would say that's good. That's good. Besides, I mean, yeah, you could try to make the argument always about, oh, you could just emulate it, which sure, but actual physical editions, you can play any time, even if you didn't have internet. assuming you didn't get around to downloading the emulation and the emulated game to begin with. Okay, we are barely done. 2 hours passed into this, almost 3 hours, by the way. We have a gigantic gigantic ass box that we have to go through now. And I know for sure this has 25 games in it. And for those that are wondering, the price for this is 53. 25 DS games for 53. That would mean that each game essentially costed about $2, roughly speaking. Maybe like $3, maybe? $2 to $3, somewhere around there. But the question is, with all these in here, are we gonna actually get the games? There is one more thing to note about this, is that this is not just the game. This is also in an actual case, which will bring up the value a lot. And what? Did I do a bundle this somewhere else? Oh yes, so this is also bundled up with 12 games untested, which is $31. Which we will test them on screen, guys. So I think this might be the 12 games they just kind of wrapped together. Remember when I said that this was going to be a long stream? Cats are having a field day. But yes. Let's go showcase. Let me put this on my lap and we'll bring these out. That's like, what the fuck, man? Why you do that? Why you hit me with that? Okay, first of all, I'm really curious to see the condition of all these. If they actually have the games, that I just get scanned by buying boxes. We'll see. So Barbie, Groom and Glam Pups. My bad. Choose from. I don't know if I said that for the game. It's really like it works. So we're gonna back in. So far, all these legit. They have boxes, most of them, not all of them. They work. Sometimes a bit, doesn't always seem to work, but that's just the charm of the DS sometimes. The games can be a bit finicky working. But, if it can read it, it can work. And just make sure you don't slam your lid down, put into sleep mode when you're doing a YouTube video about shiny hunting. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, now we have the $12 game, the 12 games here, which was for, I think it was like the 30. So it'll be $31. These have been untested, supposedly. All of them in a thing. We have a third Batman the video game. I really did not notice that I've been getting more Batmans. But hey, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. But aside from that, we got so many other games on the side that if that ends up being the most common DS game we have, that's what that ends up happening. Okay, 12 DS games. That doesn't look good. We have Madden 05, one that has a hole in it, and pretty much destroyed, which is Boogie. We have Shaun White snowboarding. We have Indianapolis 500 Legends. The Last Airbender for the DS. Another My Baby First Steps. Again, if I don't care if it works or not. Battles Ninjago. Disney Frozen Olaf's Crest. This would have been like past 2012, right? Or was Frozen a lot earlier? Again, Batman the video game. Kung Fu Panda. Go Diago Go, Safari Rescue, 2K Play. And we have another, Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? What is Make the Grade? Which I think is a different variation to the other, Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? Okay! Before we get into these, I'm gonna make a quick phone call. What are you doing, Feline? Oh, this is, right. Okay, I know I talked about it before in the last video. But this is a very heavily bubble wrap wyvern. So, this live version looks legitimate. Find the price. So this was for $21 with shipping and like that. That's like another half as much added onto it. We'll probably keep it in this 2DS. Now this is, I am going to be checking this out, the OST here, because they're just doing like, sound effect music at this point for the OST. We will try out, Sushi Strikers as well. That's what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, it's literally at this point just sound effects. Shoot. Let's do Boss Collection 2023 from Arknights from River V Workshop. So it's a boss music from Arknights. If you've never played Arknights, it's a mobile game. Okay, red, black Nintendo DS lights for $45. I believe this is all there was and wrote. There's just extra packaging for cushion and chalk. Red, black, Nintendo DS Lite, 5/16/24. I wonder why they did that, but it looks decent on the offset. I mean, the hinge up here is kind of seems like there's a bit of mirror. There's a game in here. Again, as I told you guys before, sometimes there's extras. Sometimes there's extras. I don't know what the game is, but this happens. I'm telling you guys, sometimes you can get extra games for free because no one checks to see if there's a game in there. Of course, we have our usual DS Park cartridge substitute. That's nothing too crazy, but we're gonna turn on this bad boy. Hinge is pretty good. Looks pretty nice, actually. Seems to be in really good condition. Ow! Has a thing. Ooh, the screens are a bit yellowish. Okay, so Doug seems to be the correct dates. And while the screens may be a bit yellowish in color, the game in there is Professor Layton and the Curious Village. I don't think we have that. We have Professor Layton as an identical box, but we don't have this one, the Curious Village. Well, mates, got ourselves a steal here. A game with a system that works, and it seems to be in a pretty good condition. Still has the barcode and like that. A pretty damn good steal. The yellowish screen, though, might be an indication of an issue. I don't remember all too much. I don't usually think it's yellowish, but regardless, that seems to be a pretty good deal. A free game. I did not notice the game at all, so that one's definitely a freebie. This should be the last unbox, by the way. We're at the very tail end. Now this one is going to be a bit interesting. Another one of those, like, sort of shredded cardboard bit to it. But this one I'm really curious in, because I think I know what this one is. So this one should be cats being cats, I hear you. Is Nintendo DS and Games Bundle for $31. Cheaper than the one DS in almost perfect condition, almost here with one game in it that wasn't sold. Sometimes these bids and auction houses can be a bit random. Can be. The only reason why I don't think this one was heavily done, as you probably see here in the next minute or so, is a certain case for the games looks horrendous as hell. It is probably the only reason. let's see how horrendous this is. Yay. They have Nintendo DS and Games Bundle. They put the DS inside of it. Interesting. How did they do that? Okay. Interesting packaging, by the way. The white has become yellowish. It looks better here than in the picture to a degree. But regardless, so. Well, let's open this up. I like how they didn't really take this apart. It's just like, figure out how to open it yourself, loser. The only thing I would say that's kind of like, why? But this is 6. Okay, so we have 8 games. And then the DS should be in the thing itself. Oh, look at this. Like, you can see how bad this looks. But hey, there's more games in here, by the way. Oh. There's even a game in the system. Wait, jeez. What kind of system holds this? What the hell? Okay. But it has a DS park to it. And it feels like there's more games in. Come on. Is that all? So we have at least 11 games. 11 games, a DS system that seems to be in almost equal condition for $10 less. Not counting tax or anything like that. Okay. So let's get straight into the system. Does it turn on? Does it not turn on? It's better. You know, it'll be the lulls that this system doesn't work. I don't think it just has any battery. That's it. What are you doing? Throw this away at some point, Mr. Cats. Okay, let's start off with Rainbow Islands Revolution. So all of these games so far has worked. We only have one thing to check. On a scheme that's in this that I don't know about, that was additional freebie, that wasn't listed. Second DS game that wasn't listed that we got, that was essentially free. And I'm charging to see if this turns on. Is this gonna turn on? It does turn on. Oh! Someone reset this to DS then. Okay. Weird. Okay, screens look good. The one that was more expensive had worse screens. Today's date 6/62. Today's time is 8:04. And of course, as I said before, my birthday is around the corner. Yes, sorry. I'm curious here. And take out the charger. Will it turn on? It legitimately didn't have any battery or just didn't know what to do. Okay. So this seems to work. It seems to be in really good condition. It was reset at one point. Oh, it's probably like really red. We'll shut off. Turn it back on. And we have Cooking Mama as the extra freebie game. Okay. Cut that off. Just to check here, yeah. Cooking Mama was the game that we got for the freebie in this system. Oh, that's a lot. We are now finished with the unboxing here. A lot of stuff, a lot of games. I would say we definitely have over 50. I can safely say that we have over 50 games we got. Hello everyone, and welcome to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. And of course, I wouldn't be mad if you skipped through all of that. Honestly, all that unboxing was only for those that enjoy watching unboxing and seeing stuff. For the most part, you can totally skip it if you want, but there's some certain things I said that I didn't say at the beginning that I think is worth listening to, and certain stuff like showcasing, like I said it before in the beginning of this video with bonuses, especially at the very tail end of the video. But at the end here, we're gonna have some fun with some numbers. Numbers for, of course, the total, percentages, and so forth. So we're gonna get started here. Of course, throughout the video, there's also showcase of the prices and like that for the, as I already said already, the price of the auction house and the shipping, tax, handling prices as well. But this, of course, all in one number wise. I'll probably have this up on here as well by my face. But of course, we have the price total for the auction houses, which is $424.49. The tax and the shipping price total is $207.59. I went a bit beyond here and I separated the two. Of course, this would have been way easier because there was mistakes I did make if I had like used Excel worksheet. I would have definitely used that, but of course it costs money and it's behind a paywall. At some points I have, but just not right now. Not right now. I don't have the money to do that right now, but in the future, who knows. But it's really nice. Regardless, aside from the mistakes, the shipping price is $166.22, and then of course the tax by itself is $41.37. And of course, both the shipping price, tax total, as well as the auction house all come up to $632.08. Now, the last thing was I decided to go with percentages. So the percentage for tax and shipping compared to the total, which is $632.08. How much was it for just the tax and shipping? That was 32.84%. Pretty much almost a third of the price was mostly towards um shipping and taxes, which is kind of obvious. You can kind of see that with 400 versus the 200. And then of course, we have based off of the shipping alone and tax alone for the percentage. So of course the just shipping is 26.3% and tax for 6.54%. Now, of course, I don't have data on the other available ways to get retro games. You can do the math yourself, or someone else can showcase their, tax and shipping and whatnot. Depends on how they went about it. But about a fifth of the paid amount was shipping alone. This shipping includes the handling and the shipping. So, kind of giving you an idea of how much you're going to be roughly spending with Goodwill. About 25 to 27% of the money you pay will go towards shipping. Which, at least to me, it felt like a lot, but I can't really say much unless there's more numbers to really say if shipping is really that bad with Goodwill. If it is not as bad for you guys, then Goodwill might actually generally be something to go for. If it's actually horrendous, hopefully I helped out in some way, shape, or form of making your decision. Regardless, of course, it's not perfect, and this is, of course, different states with taxes and shipping distances and whatnot. So it's not going to be absolutely perfect for you, but hopefully, it kind of gives you an idea of the average, or the general amount here. Anyway, that I think it wraps up for today's video of part 2 of Goodwill Auction House. Is Goodwill worth it? It depends. Again, I think the main point of this video, compared to the last, is that aside from pros and cons, I mean, yeah, that's kind of it. Like, every single version of way to get, a retro game has its own pros and cons. And I kind of talked about it during the stream, to a degree, but there's always something good and bad for each way you do about it, and that can definitely swing your opinion on if you should go with that or not. Especially, like, for instance, getting in games from Japan. There's many ways you could go about it, which can vary in price from both how you get it, how expensive it is. Going to Japan and going to like a rural town would be just like not, I don't even think it needs to be a rural town. Honestly, it just needs to have like certain stores. I can't remember what they're called. But you could get way more bang for your buck. But there's a lot of other things to take into consideration, like knowing Japanese, traveling expensive, airplane expenses. Is that worth doing that? At the same time, knowing Japanese, I think I already said that, but you kind of get the point. Regardless, that is gonna be it. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, /subscribe, /follow, just below. Probably not Discord, but if I remember to, I'll put it there. If not, should be on the main channel. Also, I'm so used to saying all of that because of Twitch. Regardless, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in another video. Probably most likely going to revolve around Arknights. Until then. Peace.